Welcome back to Legally Uncensored. I'm your host, Demetria Graves, and this season we're diving deep into the real, raw, and often messy parts of relationships. Whether you're entering one in the thick of it or finding your way out, we're calling this season Untangling Hearts and Unveiling Truths because let's face it, navigating love, commitment, and sometimes separation takes strength, strategy, and a whole lot of resilience. Today's episode, we're talking about something you may have felt but never said out loud. Is divorce contagious? To help unpack this bold, maybe a little messy, but totally real topic, I'm joined by the hilarious and insightful Amber Dorsey. Amber is a writer, photographer, content creator, and all-around creative force based in the Southern California. She's the founder of Elevated Flat Lays, known for helping women-owned businesses level up their visual content. She coined the hashtag Flat Lay Slay and has worked with brands like Oshkosh and Bolden USA, starting out with nothing more than a poster board and a phone. But that's just one layer. Amber is also a single mom, a divorcee, a cannabis advocate, and someone who brings light, humor, and truth to conversations about healing, womanhood, and real life. From her IG live show, Can I Kick It, to her work with Just Peachy Retreats, Amber is all about empowerment, especially for Black and brown women. And we're honored to have her here today. Amber, welcome to Legally Uncensored. So I've given the listeners a peek into your story, but please tell us in your own words.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Amber, like you said. I am a writer, a mom, a photographer, a content creator, and I live here in SoCal, and I'm born and raised here, and this is what I do, and I love to hang out here. I spend the majority of my time writing content, creating content, writing about life and life experiences. I have two wonderful kids that I'm obsessed with, but not in a creepy way. I just think that they're really incredible, and I'm kind of amazed that they came from me. And yeah, we're just kind of navigating this whole new world as a sort of family of three now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. How long have you been divorced?
So that's a fun question. We've been separated since 2019, but we finally got divorced just last year.
Oh, okay. So you are a new divorcee.
Yeah, like, legally, but it's been over for a long time.
I normally hear that. And so I think this topic is very interesting because I sit on the other side of the desk, right, as a divorce lawyer. But I do sometimes feel like groups of friends, like all the wives or maybe all of the husbands.
It's like when people get pregnant and they say that there's something in the water.
Right.
It's the same thing with divorce. Like I had a conversation some years ago with a girlfriend, and it was a couple of people that we knew, and it was like, hey, don't hang out with them. Like, that is just contagious. And we were like, yeah, for sure. I was like, and now I look back at it and I was like, that was really mean. Like, that's probably when they needed our support the most. Right. And you're like, can't do it because I want to stay happily married. So, yeah.
Did you navigate that during your process?
Oh, a little bit, yeah. It's really interesting to see sort of who's come out on the other side.
Right.
And who kind of just fell by the wayside.
Right.
But it's not terrible.
It's not terrible because I feel like you would have someone to kind of lean on if everyone in the friend group is experiencing the same
and it's really
transition.
Interesting. I think it's so funny because I have a lot of girlfriends that are happily married and have been coupled up for 20, 15 years, stuff like that. And everybody's like, how are you hanging out with them? Like, because they've been my friends for forever. They know me. They're not, it's not weird.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have an emergency contact anymore. like, what do I do? So now I'm like, one of my homegirls, I'm like, hey, by the way, like, you're my emergency contact for this trip. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, great. So just so you know, if something happens to me while I'm out here, like, they're calling you.
Right.
And everybody's like, well, you have a grown child. And I'm like, yeah, but she's like a kid. Like,
what is she going to do?
Yeah, like, she's going to call my mom probably or somebody. Like, yeah, no. It's good.
When you're listening to these stories, do you ever think, oh, wow, at least it's not that bad?
Yes. And And I think that's something that's a very normal human response,
Right.
and not something that like it comes from a place of judgment.
Right.
But there's times when you're like, oh shit, like thank God that we're not in the trenches.
Right.
Like it was, it's been messy. It's been good. It's been hard. It's been all of the things. And at the end of the day, like 5 years later, like we're really good co-parents. We get on each other's nerves. And it's also very much like, shut up. Like, like it's not, but at the same time, like I can literally be like, this man gets on my nerves. Like I think I said the other day, I was like, see, and this is why we're not married anymore. Like 100%, I know exactly why, like
Right.
no regrets. But at the same time, like there's situations that I've heard about or I've read about or I've heard from other girlfriends, and I'm like, dang, girl, like, couldn't be me.
Right.
And not even that it couldn't be me, but I hate to say that like that. But you know what I mean? Where
Right.
it's very much like, there's that small, like, oh, well, at least it wasn't that bad.
Right.
But at the same time, you then see it from like, oh, okay, well, how can I be so much more supportive? Because you're clearly going through something that I've never experienced.
Right.
I didn't have to, so let me be, that friend to you.
Right.
Because that's what I would want.
Right.
So.
Right. I have to be honest, even as a divorce attorney, because I have not experienced a divorce, it is sometimes challenging to be there for my friends outside of explaining the process, because I notice there's such up and downs. One day they're fine and want to go have drinks and happy hour, and the next day they can't get out of bed.
Oh yeah, you're crying into your wedding photos, or you're like not even in it. It never really depends on who initiated it or how it ended up. There is a point where you're like, so this whole life that I like dreamed up or thought that was going to happen, it's not happening anymore. And like you really have to like do some soul searching and come to terms with that, because that is like, I'm sorry.
Right.
Wait a minute, like let me recalibrate for 5 minutes. And then you're like, okay, well, no, this feels really good.
Right.
And then like 2 days later, you're like, oh no, this sucks because it's a holiday, or it's, your first occasion where if you have kids, it's a joint event or something. And like, how do we navigate this when we got feelings involved? And like, I got kids. And in my case, like my daughter was a senior in high school. So this was like, oh crap, like what do we do? And then
Right.
COVID hit too. So that was
wow.
even more bananas of like, we have to co-parent in a pandemic.
Right.
And have to like, we're in separate households. This is
Right.
a whole thing. So I think that also kind of benefited us in a
Right.
way. Yeah.
So how many in your friend group were going through a divorce when you went through your divorce?
Ooh, so immediate friend group, none. Well, that's not true. One of my girlfriends, and it's really funny because, God bless the group chat, right?
Right.
Like we all got with them. We've got like 4 or 5. You got different groups and different friends. So it was definitely within one of my group chats. Like we were having these conversations, and like it was a really safe space for me to like
Right.
have conversations, but also like still protecting my friends. So I never want them to be involved in my BS, basically, right? And I remember another girlfriend like going through it, and so we would talk, and like when things started to look like, hey, this is gonna go left, I would like hit her up like in a different chat, like, hey, can we have a conversation, because I don't know what I'm doing and I gotta figure this out. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you real. And this is also why I stress the importance of intergenerational friendships, because she's a solid 10 years older than me. I have friends that are 20 years older than me. One of my best friends is like 61. I love her. Like, it's the best, right?
Right.
And then I have friends, in their 30s and 20s. So it's really important to have all of these different perspectives. But because she was someone I respected, and she understood the process, and her situation was completely different
Right.
than mine as well. But it was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what do I do?
Right.
And my friends weren't like, oh, well, we can't be friends with you because like we're married and I'm single, but like looking, and like everybody's just like, okay, what do you need? How can we support? And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm happy you had that, because a lot of times people try to use me as a sounding board. And I'm like, I don't know your situation outside of the business of what we're doing. And we talk a lot on the show about how it is important to have a friend group and support, because you don't want to pay your attorney to be your friend.
That part.
That can get quite expensive. With that said, how did it feel for you to go from, like, in a married group to now the single friend.
Well, and this is where it's so interesting. In my case, it's kind of worked out because a lot of our married friends were his friends.
Ah.
So it was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that's not a bad deal for me.
Right.
Like, I'm cool with y'all, but it's mostly because those are your friends and their wives.
Right.
And this is like our married friend group. And I did have friends that like got married or whatever, but they live out of state. So most of my friends, like, I am of the digital age. Like, I was a mommy blogger and all of that stuff. So like all of my friends live in my phone. And whether, they live 40 minutes from me out
Right.
here, but living in Southern Cal, if you live in the Inland Empire and someone lives in LA, I haven't seen you in 6 months. But I didn't have that like big struggle. And I remember being told like, you're not going to have anybody because like you're alienating yourself from everybody. Because I blocked everybody. Like, we're not doing this. Like, I'm not playing the social media game. Like, nobody's going to be able to see and do whatever, speculate and have this. We're not doing this. We're just going to make a clean break, which is why it worked in my favor. But at the same time, it was like, oh shoot, like I really don't have a lot of like friends out here. But then like I did the really cheesy cool thing and was like, asked the universe, like, send me good girlfriends, and I got them. And all of my friends, like the homegirls showed up, like married, not married, single, young. Like, when I tell you, they stepped up. So when people say friends on the internet aren't real, I'm like, psh, not your friends. Like, mine
Right.
send me meal kits because they know I am high functioning and I'm in a manic state, but I can't figure out what to do next, but I got these kids. So I didn't really have that like trauma of it, which was great. But at the same time, I remember not being as good of a girlfriend to some people who were going through divorce. And I'm like, my bad.
What
I
could you
didn't
have
know.
done different to those?
Probably just reached out, asked, how are you doing, aside from like the being nosy, how are you doing? Because people want to vent, right? And that's, I feel like the thing is like, you're going through it. So you're like, people expect you to be ranting to everybody, like, well, da-da-da-da, he's this and this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I would just like show up to school and people would be like, are you okay? Like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I have a group chat and a journal. Like, therapy is a real good thing. Like, everybody needs a group chat and a journal. I'm just saying. Like, in this day and age, please. But, like, I feel like I could have been more supportive and asked, like, do you just want to, like, sit? Because sometimes you need to sit. Or like, can we just go on a Target run? Back then when we were going to Target, but like, Home Goods, like, let's just have a girls' day. And like, you don't have to think about the stresses. And because it's hard going from a dual income to a single income. And a lot of women, and well, if we're going to keep it 100, in the last like 10 years, a lot of us were stay-at-home moms because we were creatives. We were working, we were entrepreneurs. So we didn't have that backup. We didn't have health insurance all of a sudden. And now you got to navigate that. But your girlfriend's like, oh, we're planning a trip to da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, cool. I got to figure out how to pay for my kids' cap and gown.
Right.
So it's a balance, but it's also being open enough to have those hard conversations with your friends. Like, hey, you guys, I'm struggling. And your friends being like, cool, I got you. Like, I have a girlfriend. Oh my God, I have so many good girlfriends. Like, I could cry just thinking about it. Like, I love them so much. We do our girls' trips or whatever. But one of my girlfriends, like, she knew I was in the weeds and I wasn't saying a word about it. And she's like, let's hang out. And I was like, okay. And like, we did a little run and ran some errands. And she like took care of some stuff for me for my kids that was definitely not within my budget at the time. But it was like, I was going to make it work. It was not going to be a big deal. And she's just like, nope, I got you.
I love that. Although divorce can be contagious, there's community in that.
There's so much community.
Which is important.
And you see the women that come out of it and are thriving. Like, I've seen so many of like my blogger friends who have gone through divorce. And I literally just posted on Threads the other day, like, not once in 5 years have I regretted this. Not once. And I'm like, I've been scared. I have been stressed out. I have been close to the wire trying to figure out how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? But not once have I been like, maybe. And all of them are like, same, same, same. And I mean, women who have gone through like psychotic breaks, like had serious post-traumatic trauma. And like, I'm like, wow, this is beautiful.
I think from what I hear and what I see, I think once there's a acceptance in what life I envisioned, what I thought it would be, once there's a acceptance there's a acceptance to whatever follows.
Oh yeah, whatever's next is going to be beautiful.
Right. But I think what happens, men and women, a lot of times there's no acceptance and it's just fight. Like, I'm so mad that you ruined X.
My fantasy, my dream, whatever this life that we thought we had.
Right. So I always say, let it bleed. Let it bleed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, let it bleed until it no longer bleeds. Don't try to put a Band-Aid on it. Don't try to stitch it up. Just let it go. And then eventually it'll bleed out and you'll be fine.
No, I love that so much because I was flipping through a notebook the other day and I found a quote from years ago that I wrote. And it's not mine, but it's just, your scars are evidence your wounds have healed. And that is the correlation, you know, like let it bleed and then you're going to have scars and then
it'll scab up.
It'll scab up.
Yeah.
And like, you don't pick at it.
Right.
You just let it heal.
Right.
And that's what you have to do.
Right.
That's exactly, oh my God, that's so good. That's exactly what it is.
But I think just in society, we miss that step. We don't want to hurt.
Oh no, we got to skip to the next part.
Yeah.
What is the song? Can we skip to the good part, right? Like, that's exactly what it is. Because you feel like that, right? Because there's been times when, you know, was sitting at the house and the kids are gone. And I think it's that first time that you're by yourself. And you're like, well, what do I do? Like, this is weird.
Right.
You have to learn how to sit and be with yourself.
Right.
And that's hard. People do not want to hold that mirror up to themselves. And I think that's part of why divorce is contagious, right? Because you're in your friend groups and you're like, oh God, like that's messy and thank God it wasn't us. Because now it's holding a mirror up to your relationship. And you're like, you see the shortcomings. You've known the shortcomings, you know? We all see it in every relationship. You see, and then you make do, right? Because I'm not rocking the boat. This is good. We like what we got, and it's going to be fine.
Right.
And, you know, one of my favorite lines of Andre Benjamin is the day-by-day ruler of life can be too long. And I never got that as a youngster. And then as I got older, I'm like, oh, you know what? My dude was on to something because every day is every day. And, oh, my God, you're still here. Okay, so this is what we're doing still every day. But then you don't have that anymore, right? So now you have to rewrite your everyday, and you're like,
and it takes time.
It takes
and patience.
Patience. And having to learn how to be by yourself.
Right.
Be with.
And like yourself.
Oh my God. And so many people do not like themselves. And you don't realize that until you start to go through this and you're like, oh, you didn't like yourself to begin with. That's why there is that, like, you know, what's the joke that, like, you see a couple on Facebook or whatever, and, like, the wife starts posting hot selfies and the dad changes his picture to the kids, right? And it's so true because women are like, okay, well, if we're doing this, like, boom, 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 glow up, right? And it's very much like they start to like themselves again. And this is why we have all these dating conversations now about, you know, going 50-50 and whatever, because now people have to be likable.
Right.
And women are like, no. I don't like you.
Right.
I like me.
Right.
And I love what I got going on.
And I'm not going to like you more than I like me anymore. And that's the shift. Did your breakdown in your relationship cause any of your friends to start looking at their relationship like,
I can't say for sure because I don't think that's a thing we've ever talked about. But I think because my girlfriends and I are so very open and they didn't have any of the issues that we have, right? Like we all have, you know, issues in our marriages and our relationships, and, you know, money is always the biggest concern, right? And when you have different perspectives about money, that's where people tend to clash. So we would have really good conversations just amongst each other, and then we would talk about, like, our significant others and how they felt about blah, blah, blah. But it was never like but I think it probably does made some of them, like, kind of, appreciate what they got more. And it's funny because even now, you know, we'll be talking trash about whomever, and one of my homegirls will be like, no, oh, well, I guess I'll keep him. I love him. Like, you know, he just da-da-da. And we're joking about it because, like, we know, I know you're head over heels for your man, and he's adorable. And I tell my girls all the time, I'm like, you guys chose well.
Right.
Like, I'm so proud of you, and I love this for you.
Right.
And I'm like, and I'm not mad in any way that, like, it doesn't feel like, oh my God, they have something I don't.
Right.
I'm like, no, this is great.
Right.
Because they're loved so well, they get to love me.
Right. Right.
And this is the best thing. Like,
right. I notice, and it's not only in friend groups, but I notice periods of time when divorce seems to be popular in friends group. I notice, like, my friends that got married right around the time we graduated law school, they're all now in that
second
divorce.
wind.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll join you guys in the second time. The second time around. I've noticed that, or when there's been a couple of children, or when the woman has found success and they can't quite
the dynamic changes.
Yeah, the dynamic changes. So I think it's time. I think it's friend group. But what I love about you is you use humor to kind of heal this, and not kind of, you know, woe is me, which I love.
No,
so how did that help you?
You could cry about it for 5 minutes, and then you got to be a gangster. Like, I got kids.
Yeah.
I got shit to do. Like,
Right.
I don't have time to wallow in self-pity. And I have made the joke for years. I do not have time for the mental breakdown that I deserve.
Right.
Right? But through this process, and the beauty of it was because my kids were gone during the week. So we had a week on, a week off.
Yeah.
I had 7 days to get my ish together, to fall apart if I needed to.
Right.
And then I could, like, do whatever. But, like, everything is funny to me. I am the person that, like, I fell hard on vacation a couple years ago. And I am cracking up 5 minutes afterwards because I'm like, oh, at least I didn't drop my phone. Like, and I mean, like, I slid down the stairs. And I was like, see, this is what I get. I just said. And so everything is funny to me. Everything is a joke.
Yeah.
There is never a moment. I am the person in the hospital when things are dire. I'm cracking jokes in a corner. Like, please do not sit next to me.
Right.
I will make you laugh. It is all bad. I am not the friend to look at when there is a serious situation happening because I'm going to be like, well. But there's humor in all of it because it's like, come on, the irony is just too good. And I'm a writer, so, like, everything to me is, like, melodramatic. It's very much like, well, this could be a scene in a movie. And so then I start cracking jokes about it because I'm like, you guys, this is comedy. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, how is this the end result of this? Like, okay. And that's, I think, an easy way to break people down and get people to come in and drop their guard, right? Because this is how I have conversations about cannabis, about everything. Even when, you know, having the talk with my kids about, like, sex or even just getting divorced, it's like, hey, look, you know, my daughter, when she got her first broken heart, I was just like, listen, men are dicks. I'm sorry. I was like, and then her brother comes up, and they're best friends, right? And he, like, loves her to pieces. And he literally is like, we're hugging. It's a beautiful moment. Then he goes, don't be sad. My birthday's in 2 days. And I was like, you know what?
But she probably laughed.
She laughed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't even be mad because that's my kid, because that's exactly what I would do. And I was like, see, that's a big move.
Right.
So just so you know, I was like, he's not exempt either.
Right.
I was like, but, and she, like, it was a nice moment for her to, like, kind of be lighthearted about it. And now I'm like, everything is funny. So, like, even my house it's a literal comedy factory. Like, my kids are banana pants. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to joke about it.
Right.
We have to.
And I know you mentioned about, like, your ex-husband's friends were the married friends. So did they kind of go with him?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And so it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, people are like, well, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I have mad love for those people, but I am not missing because we weren't that entrenched, right? Like, I've known them for decades. Like, I met my ex-husband when I was in college. So we've been kicking it a long time. We got a 23-year-old child. So we've been doing this for some years, right? And we've all known each other. And I don't know if people are mad at me or not, like, because I don't care.
Have you seen any of them?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
We got a kid.
Do they do the hey and kind of run off?
And so this is what's funny. You could, but hey girl, how you doing? I'm like, hey, how are you? And especially if I know that you don't like me, I'm obnoxious as all get out. I don't care. I do not care. Turning 40 changed everything. It was no, okay. You don't like me? Oh, okay, too bad. I don't
So
care.
that's always funny to me, like when you have to choose friends
I
groups.
wrote
And,
a whole post about this, like,
Yeah.
and I think I wrote it years before we even got divorced
Right.
too. How do you choose, like,
Right.
who gets
How do you
who? Yeah, who
choose?
gets which
Right.
friends and whatever. And I'm like, I think you can be friends with both. I think it's totally possible.
Not in
but
the
I
beginning.
think, oh
Not in
no,
the beginning.
and I think it depends on the closeness of the relationship,
Right.
because I wouldn't expect his best friends to like still want to kick it with me and be
Right.
cool with me. But like, please believe when there's a family emergency or somebody passes
Yeah.
away and we need to all like be in the same space, it's all good. My son had a flag football game. Everybody came out. And I'm like, love, like, boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And then I was like, leaving. I was like, wait, I don't have to hang out. Y'all are good. Bye.
Right.
I was like, this is great. I can go home.
Does it feel different now that you're there as co-parents and not as a
Yes
couple?
and no. It's so funny because my son had a basketball game the other night, and I was laughing so hard because his dad's there, and then his sister, and her boyfriend, and then me. And I'm just laughing. I was like, we are the weirdest, like, we have the weirdest situation.
Hey, at
It's
least you can be in the same
We're
room.
so amicable, but we're
Yeah.
both like over each other at the same
Right.
time. But like, they, we're walking to the car, and the kids hug him, and he's like, love you, see you next weekend, blah, blah, blah. And everybody's going their separate ways, and we like look at each other like, all right. It's like,
Do you think this would be different if you were dating or he was dating?
oh, he is. He's got a whole boo. It's a whole relationship.
Does she come around to the events and
No, she hasn't. She does like drop him off. Like there's no animosity.
Okay.
Because in my heart of hearts, I want him to be happy.
Okay.
Because a happy him means my kids are happy. And it's the same way, happy wife, happy life. If I'm good, my kids are good. And if he's good, then my kids are good. And all I care about is that my kids are good. I don't care what you're doing with your life. Don't be weird around my kids. But like, it's not, I don't know. I don't have any animosity towards him, towards her, about any of that. So like, we do date. Like, I didn't know he was dating. That was a fun conversation with my kid. Like, so.
have you met her? Like, had
Oh
a
yeah, I've known her for years. Yeah.
You
yeah.
knew her?
Girl, that's
That's
whole
another
other-
show?
Yeah, it's a whole other show. But no, like met her, like
Yeah.
she's got kids, like everybody. It's a great situation
Right.
for my kids,
Right.
and so I'm not mad about it at all.
Right.
And like we do drop off, and everybody's very like, hey, hi, how you doing?
Right. Right.
Nobody's weird, nobody's rude. We could be, but like, for what?
Right.
Because all I'm going to do is make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Because I'm going to be my most annoyingly chipper self. And that's my superpower, I guess.
Right.
Is I'm annoyingly chipper and like ridiculously
Right.
upbeat. So I'm going to be that. And then
Right.
you're going to be like, wait, she's not? No, she's not. Sorry.
For what? Do you find your friends now, married or otherwise, doing the, oh, you'll find someone soon, and like the petty, not petty, but maybe the
it's
pity?
so funny because I see that all the time online where people are like, oh, my friend's trying to hook me up or so. And I was like, yeah, my girls don't care. I was like,
Yeah.
we don't do couple trips. We do girls trips because
Right.
I love that you love your husband. I don't want to hang out
wanna
with
hang
that
out
dude.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So no one's trying to hook you up and
No, because I am who I am.
Yeah.
And they know me well enough to know that if I am entertaining that,
Yeah.
it's going to happen to me, and it's going to be me. Because I haven't been on a dating site. I don't do that. I'm team recycling, like, oh, hi, I knew you
Yeah.
once upon a time. Hey, we could hang out. And then go from there.
I mean, I'm with you. I am anti-dating apps. I
Yeah, no,
refuse.
that seems stressful.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the men on there are really weird. Like,
Yeah.
I live online,
Yeah.
so I see a lot of those conversations, and I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No. And the way that my vocabulary and writing skills are set up, hi, what are you doing? And not even, what are you doing? Hi, WID.
Yeah.
5 times a day?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I will throw my phone, and I
Right.
love my phone.
Right.
So, no. I'd just rather, like, I got plants.
Right.
And I hang out with those, and I work on my retreats,
Yeah.
and we do that, and
Yeah.
that's so much more fun.
You know, I love that. I love that you're co-parenting well. I love that you all can be in the same space because believe me, that's not everyone.
I'm sure.
I love that. But there are so many women that are kind of going through what you went through. So kind of what is your advice, if they're in a friend group or not, but just navigating this new normal?
Lean on your friends, but find the safe space friends, right? And I did a talk, I did a Can of Kick It actually on friendship because I'm, like I said, a huge advocate of my intergenerational friendships. I have a really great friend group. We spent all summer together, and it was so nice to see like all the different perspectives. And every day I'm like, I have the best girlfriends. I'm so blessed. Like I wake up every morning like to all of my, like the group chats going off, and I'm like, I love you guys. Like I love you guys. You're just great. And I feel like that's the thing, is to really lean into those friendships. You have to be vulnerable, which is scary. But the only way, and we said this the other day, that no one can help you if they don't know what you're going through, right? So if you're not honest with your friends, like, I am struggling, I am in the weeds. Yes, you can be happy and joyful, but you can be honest about like, hey, this is hard right now. And hopefully they'll say, well, what's hard about it? What can I help you in some way? What do you need to alleviate? Is it the laundry? Is it just, and you're just like, no, it's just feelings. Like, I feel like I'm underwater. Okay, cool. You want me to listen? You have to be willing to be vulnerable, but also get a journal. Write that stuff out, because you can't dump on your friends. You know, it's that episode of Sex and the City where after Carrie breaks up with, I think it's either Big or Aiden, and she's like waxing poetic, and they're like, please go to therapy. Like, we cannot be your
I was
therapist.
going to add, please go to therapy, because they will listen to you.
Yeah, but if you can't afford a therapist, which I know it's hard, because if you don't have health insurance all of a sudden, and you're trying to figure out money, that's a lot. Get a journal, write it down. Just write whatever it is that you're feeling, and be open to writing all of that truthfully. Don't censor yourself on the pages, because we tend to do that too. But really, like, be that vulnerable, so when your friends ask you, how are you, you can really say, you know what, today I'm really good. Tomorrow I'm not sure. You know, when my daughter graduated, because it was COVID, it was really hard for me, because I had a vision of what it was going to be like. And I remember dropping in the chat, like, you guys, she graduates today, and I am not okay. And they're like, we love you, we're so proud of you, we're so proud of her, da 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 da. I have girlfriends who will literally just be like, I love seeing you glow up. I love seeing this iteration of you. I knew what you were like 10 years ago. You're a totally different woman. And I'm like, that's so dope to me.
And I love it. I didn't know you before, but you are glowing.
Thank you.
And I love that you came here to share your story, to share everything. I'm inspired, and I'm not even going through the process.
Thank you for having me. This has
Of
been
course.
so fun.
Can you tell everyone how they can find you?
Oh, yes. You can find me at From Carpools, the number 2, Cocktails, on all the socials. Well, not Twitter, because I don't play with that anymore, but... I'm on Threads. Yeah, I'm on Threads. I'm on Instagram. I do an IG live once a month called Can I Kick It? I have a Substack called Shenanigans and Subplots, so you can find me over there, because we are about the shenanigans and the subplots. I live for that. I do it for the plot. Like, this is my jam. So, yeah, you can find me online. Hit me up. Say hello. Don't be weird. I don't show my toes. So.
I do.
Like, no free toes, but like, holler at your girl. I'm here to chat about all the things always. I'm a girl's girl, so I live for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. I hope today's episode helped you feel seen, heard, and maybe even laugh a little. If there's one thing we're learning this season, it's that healing doesn't follow a perfect timeline, and neither does love or divorce. Whether you're the first in your friend group to split, or you're feeling the aftershocks from someone else's breakup, you're not alone, and you're not broken. Big thanks to Amber Dorsey for bringing her truth, her humor, and her light to Legally Uncensored. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review if this resonated with you. And if you're navigating a big life change, remember, you deserve strategy, not just survival. I'm Demetria Graves, and until next time, stay tuned, and please let us know, do you think divorce is contagious?